Hey guys, this is Rohit with another quick tip for you guys on creating a weldment cut list from a multi-bodied part. If you like what you see here, we have hundreds of more tutorials at solidworks.com. That link is down below in the description. Go ahead and check us out after you see this video. This video is going to be included in two sections because it's relevant to both parts as well as drawings, so it'll be in both of those sections. If you're familiar at all with weldments, you've probably worked with a weldment cut list. Anytime you create a structural member, it's added to a cut list, and this can be brought into a drawing and displayed as a table. But what a lot of people don't know is that you can also apply this method to a multi-body part. So if you're creating features using the standard features, extrusions, sweeps, lofts, for example, by default there's no table that you can generate from your solid bodies. And you might want to create a table in a drawing so you can keep track of what parts and what features you have in a certain part or assembly. So the first step to creating a weldment cut list from a multi-body part is to activate the Weldments tab, or just come into Insert Weldments and choose this weldment option. Now immediately this switches the solid bodies folder to the cut list folder. But if you've worked with structural members, you'll also notice that in a weldment, these will all be in their own folders. So to get this to show up in a drawing, we have to right click into the cut list and choose Update. And then we can choose to make a drawing from the part. Once I bring a view in, I can come into Insert, choose Tables, and choose Weldment Cut List, and bring this in. Now when you do this with a multi-body part, you're going to get 4 columns. You'll get the item number, quantity, a description, which you'll have to fill out from the custom properties if you want this to populate, and length, which ends up for a multi-body part being the material. So in this case we can just change this over to material, and if we specify material for each one of those bodies, that's going to show up in the table. So if I right click in to the body and choose out a material for each one of these, each one of those will now populate into the table. The description section is a useful place to actually put the title or the name of the body. And we can do that by right clicking into this folder and going to Properties and choosing out Description. In this case I'll just call this top tube. I'll go ahead and call this bottom tube. And I can call the last one another name, maybe in between, or whatever I would call it. You can also move in between the different items in your cut list and modify the properties from here. Now if we look into that weldment cut list, you can see now all those descriptions have populated. And if we want to add any columns, we could always right click in and say Insert Column. And then if we go to the column properties, if we've defined any other properties, we'll be able to select them out. For example, if you did have a length or a manufacturing process, you can add those in. Lastly, this quantity updates for any identical bodies. So if, for example, I use the move copy bodies command, and choose the copy option, if I go ahead and update this, it'll populate into that cut list. And similarly, if I were to create an extrusion with two different bodies, let's say two cylinders, and made the diameters equal, and once again update the cut list, that's going to bring this into its own folder as well. And I can once again add a description. And take a look at the table. But that's how you create a weldment cut list from a multi-body part.